everyone. Welcome to CMO Weekly, the show where we sit down with the world's top marketing leaders and CEOs to uncover the bold moves, tough lessons, and breakthrough ideas that have shaped their journey. Every episode, we go beyond the headlines to explore what it really takes to build brands, lead teams, and stay ahead in a fast-changing industry. I'm Haley Clover, and this is another episode of CMO Weekly. This episode is brought to you by Open Fortune, the only marketing company putting your brand inside actual fortune cookies. Yep, those fortune cookies that you crack open after dinner, they're now prime real estate for your brand message. Open Fortune distributes millions of branded fortunes every month through thousands of restaurants nationwide, giving brands a moment of surprise and attention that no banner ad can match. Want to reach people when they're smiling, engaged, and ready to share something fun? Head to openfortune.com to learn more. Okay, everyone, I'm super excited. My guest today is leading one of FinTech's most daring growth stories. Andrew McCormick is the head of eToro US, where he's steering the multi-asset trading platform into a new territory, giving retail investors seamless access to equities, options, ETFs, and more than 50 crypto assets. With roots in regulatory law and experience at Morgan Stanley and E-Trade, Andrew helps eToro navigate tough compliance ecosystems while scaling marketing, education, and innovation. He's played a pivotal role as the timing for eToro's US IPO came into view. And if it has to do with community-powered investing and accessible innovation, Andrew is usually making it happen. So Andrew, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Haley. It's true joy and honor to be with you today.
Oh, thank you. We're happy to have you. I'm excited to chat and learn more about you and eToro and really all the good things. And like I kind of mentioned before, I usually love to just start and hear more about your background and how you even found yourself as the head of eToro.
Yeah, it certainly was not by design. Like coming out of high school and college, like I wanted to go to Hollywood. I wanted to stand up and do movies and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I had a mom and dad who didn't really love that idea quite as much. And my family, like we were simple folks. Like my dad worked as a truck driver. My mom taught aerobics classes. So like to us, success was like you're a doctor or a lawyer. Doctor, get a little squeamish about blood and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of family pressure for me to go into law school, and so eventually gave up the Hollywood dream. Maybe one day it'll come back.
Yeah, hey, it could always happen.
Did the law school thing and had no intention to do finance, but I graduated around the time of the financial crisis, and what that meant is there's a lot of banks, financial companies, investment firms getting sued, and those firms need lawyers, and that is how unromantically I ended up in the world of finance. Did the law firm thing for 6 years. I really enjoyed it, but I was traveling like all the time and had at the time, I think, two-year-old twins and a 6-month-old, and being a big corporate litigator, no longer aligned with my more important job as being husband and father. So then went in-house to work at E-Trade. Loved it. It was great. I was a lawyer there. E-Trade eventually got bought by Morgan Stanley. Had a great experience there. But my passion is like helping normal Main Street type of people navigate and learn about the world of finance. And Wall Street does a lot of important stuff, but that's not their strong suit. And so made the jump to eToro about 3.5 years ago to be their U.S. lawyer and try to navigate through all the complicated things, trying to launch crypto and stocks and ETFs and options. And about a year ago, our prior U.S. CEO left, and they asked me to step into the role, and have had a great and challenging experience during the past year, learning a lot of new stuff and just fighting for the retail investor every day.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. I love that. It's something that my parents even always told me. Having parents that actually were maybe a bit more open to like go do whatever, go try all of those things. It is funny how you have to be open to any pathway, right? You just never know where your journey is going to take you. So I think that's cool. And I think you keep that dream and the hobby of acting and comedy and everything on the side, because you just never know. Like
I've tried to bring it into my career, my entire journey, and always try to infuse like humor and lightheartedness and creativity. And it's been my calling card. Like I was a financial services lawyer in Washington, D.C. It's hard to get more boring or serious than that. But first day of work, I'm rolling in with like red pants, and we're listening on the, in my office to Dr. Dre and Taylor Swift, and found a few other, similarly hardened lawyers, and we started a little rock and roll band, and we got to do our thing. So yeah, sometimes life can try to put you in a box, and I'm all about just breaking out of that box and making your own.
That's amazing. For those of you just listening and not watching, Andrew's wearing an incredible shirt with I think they're florals. It's kind of hard for me.
Yeah, they're flowers.
It's awesome. And his background has awesome paintings and, bright colored art. It's great. So how do you take that energy and bring that into, leading a team? Is that kind of an important part of your leadership, was keeping that energy in this type of space, which, like you said, maybe some look at as being a bit boring or kind of straight edge?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always positive, always, there's time to be serious for sure, but when I can be, lighthearted, try to have fun. My biggest passion in life is to be like a cheerleader, like not doing flips or somersaults or stuff like that, but just encouraging people. And I love the opportunity and the position I'm in now, and I get to do that every day. And sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news, but life is short. We spend a lot of time working, so I'm all about let's have as much fun as we can. Get the job done, but let's enjoy it too. Enjoy life, enjoy the moment, enjoy the people around us.
Yeah. Did the office celebrate Taylor Swift's engagement, now that you mentioned Taylor Swift?
We didn't celebrate it, but I probably dropped it into 2 different meetings today, referencing we're planning an all eToro US gathering here in a couple months. I was like, maybe we'll have Travis and Taylor there, as part of the Engagement Roadshow. So we didn't celebrate, but definitely a couple dad jokes already about it. So.
I love it. So, okay, talk to me a little bit. You mentioned that when you came in 3 years ago, there was a lot of things that were super exciting at eToro, and then some things that you found a challenge, just being, kind of in this different space. Can you talk to me a little bit about what those challenges were and kind of how you overcame those?
Yeah, daily struggle for sure. But in my first 6 months at eToro, I probably learned more about finance, business than my prior 13 years or so of my career. And I think a big part of it is I was at Morgan Stanley, and it was great and I loved it, but we had in our legal compliance team over 2,000 people, right? So there's 10 people doing everything. There's always some guy, some lady you can call for help. And you have 80 years of experience of templates and things like that you just build on. But you jump into the world of fintech, and all those people and all those resources and all that history isn't there. So you're learning as you go. Constant Googling and research. I wish ChatGPT was more of a thing 3 years ago, but it helped me quite a bit. But just the constant learning is huge. I think the biggest thing that I've taken, not from just this experience, but try to apply into my whole life, is progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Look, I'm as only child and became a lawyer, you want things to be right and orderly, and it's not always like that. And my initial reaction sometimes is hey, before we do something, let's make A to Z, everything's perfect and in order and everything has a place. That's not how it always works, especially in the world of fintech and innovation. Sometimes you gotta be hey, this is as good as we can get right now. Let's take that step, and we'll keep continuous improvement. So that constant learning and that just acceptance that perfection is not possible, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Try to take that into my life everywhere these days.
Yeah, it's true. It's a really good point. And the fintech space seems to be moving at such a fast rate as well. It's almost like you don't necessarily have time to get everything perfect either. By the time you get that perfect, something's probably changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in this space, obviously, you compete with giants like the Robin Hoods and Coinbases of the world. How do you continue to position the brand to stand out in such a crowded space and continue to keep eToro on its own, kind of personal narrative?
Yeah, I'd say there's 3 things. One is our global exposure. So we are in 75 different countries around the world and been doing that for almost 20 years. And so have tons of experience, wealth, knowledge. Have certainly made mistakes over those 20 years, and you learn from them. But the fact that we can have eToro customers in Australia, Singapore, Germany, Finland, Brazil, US, that's so unique, right? And that leads into our second, I think, differentiator is we have a whole social component within our platform. So you can't you don't just log into eToro and you place a couple trades, check your balance, that's it. Like we have an entire social community in there where people are talking about investment ideas, talking about world news, talking about markets, and you might have someone from Sweden and Mexico like talking to each other, and it's really cool to see. And look, we turn to social media for everything, like recipes, travel ideas. Why not finance? And so that's definitely a key part and differentiator for us. And then third is we're so passionate about education and empowerment. Like we have an entire thing we call the eToro Academy. So whether you're step one and day one of your investment journey, or like you've been doing this for 20 years, there's different courses like tailored for you. And whatever you're wanting to learn about, there's a blog, a video, something in there where people can learn from, and just really excited about people learning, whether it's through that means or learning through each other. So it's that global reach, the social, and then finally the education.
Well, something that I found really cool when I was doing, my research that I didn't necessarily know about was your copy trading. So as somebody that maybe, and I think this is okay too, right? Maybe you're just not into doing the research and really learning about the financial aspect of things, but you know how important it is to be investing and be saving for the future. Copy trading is really unique in the sense that, investors can come in, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they can essentially copy other investors and what they're investing in. And those investors, are the ones that are more senior investors and understand the business and like what you should be investing in. But you essentially can just say, listen, I'm just going to mimic what they're doing because I know that they know way more than me. I think that's so cool and so smart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a super innovative tool, and that's like one of our calling cards. And because look, the reality of like most of us, we're working all day, and then when work ends, you got to do chores or kid stuff or family stuff or see friends, and you don't have time to be like reading prospectuses all the time. But on our platform, you can look and you see, wow, Jane Doe, John Doe, like they like have really cool history. I love their thoughts they're sharing. Their performance is awesome. I'll just, like you said, do what they do, and I'll still do my own thing here and there. But these people looks cool, and let me copy them. And if you change your mind later, you can just stop it and move on to someone else or keep doing it yourself. But yeah, just giving someone an additional tool in their arsenal, I think is very, very helpful.
Yeah, I think it's leans into the fact that within fintech and just within the financial world in general, a lot of it is about trust and being able to trust the platform that you're using to kind of invest. Is there a way in which you all kind of focus in on how you're creating that message of trust with your clients and just with investors, I guess, worldwide as well?
Yeah, so our platform is so transparent, and I think this is very helpful, right? Because like, look, if I'm on Reddit or Instagram, when you see like people talking about finance all the time, you have no ideas like, is this guy like a scammer, legit? Yeah. But what's great, like on eToro, you might have someone on there saying, hey, I love Nike stock. It's great. Their new shoes are awesome, and the earnings going up. You can actually then click on that person's profile to see if he or she actually owns Nike stock on eToro, how long they've had it. And so that transparency is so huge, and that doesn't exist anywhere else. Where normally if you're on other platforms, and they're great too, like I'm a customer of some, and some I've been customers for 20 years, but you don't have that same like connectivity of like, hey, I'm doing my research on Google, Instagram, Reddit, wherever it may be, and then I'm going over here and making the investment. And I'm not 100% sure if this person is legit here. You have that additional transparency and trust, which is very helpful. And the fact that we've been around 18 years, and there's a lot of firms who've come and gone during that time and didn't make it. And we have regulatory licenses like all over the place, and it's certainly a commitment to us. So we always want to continue to build that trust and grow it even more.
Yeah. Now, I know you're not maybe directly involved with every marketing campaign that comes out for eToro. So, if this is not your purview, let me know. But can you talk at all to kind of the goals currently with eToro's marketing and where you all are trying to, continue to connect with consumers or new customers, or like what the goal is? Is it bringing people into the platform? Is it continuing to educate the folks that are already in there? What are those kind of main goals right now?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about one that's absolutely my favorite because it touches on getting people started and also the education. We have something I think it's actually wrapping up in the next week or so, and we've done it 2 or 3 other times, but called the Learn and Earn campaign, where that eToro Academy I talked about, where you could do courses, watch videos. We actually have courses in there where you take the course, and it's not like sitting in a lecture, right? It's like 5-10 minutes and engaging and interesting. And you take a little quiz and you pass the quiz, you get free dollars for it that you can then actually put into practice what you just learned about. And so we're wrapping up a campaign now where if you go through, I think 6 or 7 courses, you can win like $20. $20 is now real money in your account. And one of the things I truly love about eToro that's so easy to get started, you can get started with as little as a $10 investment. So say you went to lunch and you love Chipotle and you're like, you know what, let me get some of my free money and invest in Chipotle. You can do that. And so that Learn and Earn challenge, I think, is like super powerful for one, get people started and especially like have people feel empowered. Like, all right, I learned a little bit about this and I got some free money. Let me start taking those steps. And I'm sure like everyone else, the second thing is like AI, right? And we've launched AI commercials recently, and there's, of course, there's humans still involved, right? But more like the strategic, creative level. But last fall, we opened up stock and options trading in New York, and I'm the child of the 80s and 90s, and so I love hip hop and breakdancing and all that kind of stuff. So our whole video about this was like a bear and a bull breakdancing, having a breakdancing battle like in Times Square. And so it was like all AI, like all the graphics, of course, were like AI, not a real bear and a real bull. But
now that would have been impressive. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe dangerous. But the fact that, we could get something like that, like launched and out the door, like much quicker and more efficiently than ever before is like super exciting. We're going to keep leaning into that space as much as we can. So.
Yeah, really cool. That's awesome. The Learn and Earn campaign. Yeah, what an incredible way to get somebody in the door and then continue, like you said, to help them learn and keep going on their investing journey. And hey, you don't know what $20 is going to be worth in the stock that you've decided to invest in. I mean, gosh, why not?
Yeah, for sure. And so much is just about getting started, right? Like whether it's hey, I'm going to eat healthier, or hey, I'm going to start going to the gym or start making my bed or whatever. These little habits that are so important. It's that first step or two can be so hard, and a free like $10, $20, and you actually make that first investment and you learn as you go is like just a great way to just help get people get started, right?
Yeah. Now, when you all are doing a campaign like that, what type of channels do you normally find yourself, other than television, obviously with commercials, find yourself marketing with that seem to be, really successful for you all? Is it mostly digital? Do you find yourself on, social media or doing out of home type of billboard campaigns? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, mostly digital, right? So, those kind of key websites and social media channels, of course, especially with our social element, we're there. Of course, have like email campaign to existing people who've registered but never started, as well as also existing customers. Here and there, we'll do the out of home. I think that kind of stuff is like super fun and engaging, and maybe gives you a little more room for creativity, but it's not a day-to-day kind of thing for us. But hopefully that's something we can continue to lean into, that like old school boots on the ground type of marketing.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting, with the emphasis on community. I'm sure, just being a fintech brand, the mindset is probably performance. Like we want to see where our dollars go, right? But with that community aspect, like I just wonder if you all look also at truly how the community is just talking about your campaigns and like what that kind of, hype is around, like on social media and on those different platforms, even the Reddits of the world. Because man, you really can find some incredible insights from people that are just kind of having those, offhanded conversations about what you all have put out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you find yourself looking at that as well as kind of knowing the success of your campaigns, like looking at the conversations on social media and stuff like that, or just really kind of looking at that like $1 to $1 spend, and did that happen to bring somebody into the platform?
Yeah, the dollar spend and data is certainly the key focus, right? But we're all the time looking at social sentiment as well as like news, PR kind of hits, and always not just looking at us as standalone, but comparing them to other firms in our space. And it's always encouraging to see that we often like punch well above our weight class, and we are always hustling, especially as much free advertising as we get, whether it's doing interviews or sponsoring events here and there, and just trying to maximize those dollars and be out there as much as possible. And but data is key, and sometimes the brand recognition stuff is much harder to measure. Like a dream is we're like one day sponsoring a U.S. sports team. We do that overseas for soccer and rugby and some of these other sports. I'd love to do that in the U.S., but one of the challenges is it's harder to measure that kind of thing as opposed to, you're on a website, hey, click here, open an account versus someone in a stadium somewhere sees an eToro sign and maybe 18 months later she signs up for the account.
Right, that's so true, and it could have been from that banner at the at the
Yeah, we have no idea, right? So.
Yeah, it's so true. Do you find it more challenging to get folks investing in some of those new like 50 plus crypto assets that you all have versus more of the traditional type of investing, or does it seem to be pretty balanced right now?
Yeah, well, what's exciting after the last couple of weeks, we're now at 100 plus crypto assets as of I think
Hey,
2 weeks ago.
congratulations.
So super excited. Look, our platform is typically in the 20 to 40 something range. We'll happily take all customers. That's like our sweet spot typically, and those folks, which I'm in there just barely, much more open to like crypto. So a lot of our customers are like crypto first. Like they come here for crypto as opposed to invest in an ETF or stock. And the ideal is everybody is diversified, investing across the board, but a lot of people come in the door because of crypto first.
Yeah, and you have the same type of educational platforms for both, I'm guessing.
Yeah, sure thing. Crypto as well as stocks, ETFs, and options. And overseas, there's even additional asset classes, and they'll have, whether it's FX trading or something called CFDs in Europe, and they'll have the similar kind of educational tools for those asset classes.
Yeah.
And another tool we love is like you can actually, when you come and you want to learn, you've done the courses, you actually open like a fake account where you have like a free $100,000, and unfortunately, no, it doesn't convert to real money or any kind of way like that. But if you're like, want to take that step, we're like, let me practice a little bit and see if I invested 75,000 in some meme stock or meme coin and what it could do, or a traditional ETF, whatever it is, and kind of like just practice a little bit. It's a really cool tool we have.
That's really cool. I think that goes back to, you all being super transparent as a company too, because being able to, give somebody the chance, like you just said, to invest in a meme coin and then maybe watch themselves lose that fake $75.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a lot of companies would be like, oops, sorry, you not our problem. But the fact that you can give people a chance to practice that is really cool. And just see the, responsibility that somebody has with their money, or that they need to have with their money, is really important.
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of amazing tales of investment success out there, and there's just as many and probably more tales of failures. And I think a good investor probably has a mix of both. And the goal is to learn from some of those mistakes. And I certainly have. Most of my mistakes actually are like selling stuff that I should have held on to. Like at some point I sold 3 Bitcoins for like $3,000, and at the time, I was like really excited. I'm like, wow, this helped us go on a family trip to Mexico. This is great. And now in retrospect, I'm like, wow, that trip to Mexico cost like $300,000.
Oh God, it is. That's got to be so hard. But at the same time, you truly never know, and it could have as easily gone in the opposite direction.
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of just like can't, think about it anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's tough.
And that's seeing like investing. It's just another aspect of life where like nothing ever goes perfectly, whether it's sports, parenting, or relationships. Like you have ups and downs, and it's okay. Just try to learn from it and enjoy the experience as much as you can.
Exactly. So where is eToro moving, into the future in general? Obviously you talked a bit about, AI and using that AI tool, but, where is that, where's that future heading?
Yeah, so I mean, I think right now people talk about the future like crypto and then versus say like traditional finance. I think in like 5 years it's just all the same. And you're gonna see this world of crypto and instant access and blockchain just be normal, right? It's no longer this kind of little side thing. Like I started following crypto a lot in like 2016. I wish like 4 years before when someone was telling me like, hey, you should really look out into Bitcoin. I didn't listen. But after like 8 or 9 years, it's interesting that it used to be this kind of little like behind the curtain
Yeah.
weird group, weird thing going on. And now you have it talked about in the halls of Congress and the White House and every major company talking about it around the world. And it's suddenly like you can just see it happening in real time. Like it's becoming part of mainstream society. And
Right.
especially you think of like younger kids who are growing up, it's going to be like normal to them. So I think in the future, so much of our life is going to be like on the blockchain. And eToro is all about that and leaning in heavily into tokenization and constant trading and trying to trade without third, central party to approve everything. And it's exciting. It's also challenging and, sometimes scary too, right? Because like anything else is new. I think the reality is in not too distant future, we're living in a world where AI and even robots are like just doing a ton of stuff that we're doing today. And they got to transact in some way. And I think it's going to be like crypto assets. And so maybe in the future there's some eToro robot. I doubt it, but we'll definitely be part of that ecosystem and just always energized about the idea of empowering and educating investors. I think over time we'll do more and more asset classes and keep expanding and growing. And we're all in on AI, both as employees and what we're trying to offer our customers because it's truly the future. And it's also just really, really helpful, right? It's amazing.
I know, instead of trying to, like you said, or instead of looking at it as maybe a bit of a scary thing, because change is scary. I get it. Like, and I have a very, very novice understanding of AI and use Chat GPT. I think probably like most people to kind of get quick searches and things like that. But being able to go into the education center of eToro, if you're interested in getting into all of that, and just even learning a little bit every day, learning a little bit every week, so that when like you said, in 5 years, when this is very mainstream and this is kind of just the ecosystem we live in, you have a pretty good understanding of how it's all, how it's all working, and it doesn't feel as futuristic and uncomfortable as it was.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not a proponent ever of like, hey, let's just turn over everything to AI. I'm a big sci-fi movie nerd, so I know not to do that. Like bad stuff happens, but what a valuable like co-pilot to have. And even at eToro, we have our AI tool is called Tori, and you can like ask Tori like just the most basic like investing questions or specific things. And Tori's not there to make investments and certainly doesn't make recommendations, but when you have questions about learning and engagement, it's there to help you on that journey, which is really exciting to see. And it's amazing. Just like a year ago, like I would maybe once a week or once a month plug something into some AI tool, and now it's like every day, constantly.
Yeah.
And like I just said, like me and my family, we just moved to New Jersey from Virginia, and like I don't know how we could have done it without ChatGPT. It was like constant, like how do I register for schools and all this stuff. That it's such a valuable tool, and you just fast forward another year, 5 years, and it's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, that's so true. Using it for even those like kind of everyday things really is, so helpful.
Yeah, sometimes as like a therapist too. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
like
should I
how should I feel about this?
exactly? Yeah, for sure. So it's, super incredible.
That's funny. Before we get into our like lightning questions round, just interested as a lawyer, how how much do you have to daily read, like the regulations of crypto things? Like, is it changing truly all the time, or is it like those big periods where maybe something changed and then you're kind of waiting for regulations to change? They're coming, but we're waiting for laws and bills to pass and all that kind of stuff, and then things change? Or, for somebody like me that's just kind of watching, it feels like stuff is changing all the time. Is it actually changing that quickly?
Yeah. All right. Great question. Most importantly, I'm thankful I'm like moved past my lawyer days. I did it 15 years,
Yeah.
but I'll never truly shed it from my heart.
Right. I feel like
Um,
you probably are still reading and looking at all of those things.
Absolutely. So it's interesting, like in the world of crypto, I wish more had happened,
Yeah.
right? So I started getting into this space when I was at E-Trade in like 2017, 18. Would always tell people like, I think next year we're finally going to get like crypto legislation to answer some of these key questions and bedrock principles. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. But finally, it finally happened. Like this year, we finally got our first like U.S. crypto legislation with the Genius Act. So ironically, I wish there was more stuff to read over time.
Okay.
Most of the stuff to read was actually like negative, like someone getting sued for this or that. And that was always scary. And it's really challenging as a lawyer in this space, but even as like any position in this space, someone marketing in the crypto space the last 8 years, it's like really challenging because our guiding principles are from two laws from the 1930s, 1933 Securities
Yeah.
Act, 1934 Exchange Act, and you're
Wow.
trying to like build an advertisement around Dogecoin on laws based on the 1930s, as well as a 1946 Supreme Court case that was about orange trees and whether they're securities or not. And so these are like the core tenets that the crypto business is trying to operate in is like not healthy. So super,
Yeah.
yeah, so super encouraging actually starting to see like we got stablecoin legislation passed last month. There's some new legislation called the Clarity Act that hopefully will bring clarity to this space. So lots of reading. Wish there had been maybe more just because that meant there was like more stuff that actually was happening. But I think it will finally come now.
Good to know. Really good to know. Okay, cool. Well, Andrew, we've made it to our fast questions round.
All
So
right.
thank you for all of the insight into eToro. It's super cool and really exciting to see, where everything is moving. And now I love for kind of our audience to just learn a little bit more about you,
Okay,
kind of
cool.
the actual work. So whatever comes to mind, go ahead and say it. Okay, person dead or alive that you'd most like to sit down to dinner with.
Oh, some family members for sure, grandparents who've passed, but outside of family, Teddy Roosevelt. Love this guy's like spirit. He was crazy. He was a president. He was a cowboy, businessman, police officer. Dude did it all. And so I love to somehow chat with him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What's your favorite city in the world?
Ooh, okay. Favorite place I've ever been? I'd say it's probably Iceland. And I've been twice. Reykjavik, Iceland, like the capital, is just like so pristine, so clean. You can like just the air feels healthier, right? And just love it. And relates to my first question when I went with my grandparents there as a kid, like as like, hey, graduate high school, let's do a little trip, and just a lot of great memories, beautiful nature. So I'll go hang out in Reykjavik somewhere.
Okay, cool. In 30 years, what do you think people are going to be nostalgic about?
Scary. I'm a very nostalgic person.
Me too.
I Yeah, I live and breathe 90s nostalgia and boy bands and all that kind of great stuff.
The boy band is a good answer. You don't have to use that one, but that would be a good answer because those might be gone in 30 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's scary because I do with the world of technology gets like more and more digitized, and I already miss like nature stuff, right? And people not being sucked on their phone like at all times.
Yeah.
So I really hope we're not one day missing our current status where people are already spending too much time on their phones. So,
Yeah. Be on your phone, but then get out and go on a hike.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Touch grass.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. In one sentence, how would you sum up the internet?
Powerful, but overwhelming and dangerous also.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever been given, whether it's personal advice or about work?
Yeah, I'll give two. One is, like I said before, like progress, not perfection. I try to take that everywhere. And second was from my grandparents said, travel as much as you can, as soon as you can, so then you can cherish those memories for your whole life. And some of
Oh,
my favorite memories in life are like trips, whether it's teenage years, 20s, family, kids, by myself, and like they're awesome. And I'm glad I have like hopefully 60 more years to like cherish them and enjoy them. So as much, even if you like run out of money, just travel.
I love
I
that.
think always worth it. So.
I love that. I love that. And it's so refreshing because you don't always hear it. You hear a lot about saving for retirement and setting yourself up for later. That's if we hopefully, God willing,
Yeah,
get there. So you might as well travel while you can.
yeah.
I agree. Oh, okay. This one I think is going to be fun for you just based on, everything you've told me. If your team had to describe your energy or your vibe by a cocktail, what drink are you and why?
Some pink fruity beach kind of I don't know, something like along these lines.
I
I
feel like
think it's
maybe you're a Mai Tai.
yeah, I like it
You're
that. Yeah,
colorful, tropical, you like to travel. It's really fun. Like vacation vibes are definitely different than everyday vibes. It feels like maybe you
yes.
live in.
I
So
think we'll go with Mai Tai for sure. Definitely not like a Guinness or a fancy wine or any of that stuff. So,
that's so funny. Do you have any totally random skills or hobbies that have absolutely nothing to do with your job?
yeah, so I mentioned at the top, like I was in a little rock and roll band, and I was the rapper in the band for like 5 years. So it'd catch people off guard if I'd come out and suddenly be singing like Dr. Dre or something like that. So,
That's amazing.
but with now 4 kids, I kind of hang that one up. But maybe occasionally it comes back here and there. So,
With enough Mai Tais, maybe we'll get you to rap it at some point.
that's true.
Okay, cool. A couple left. One thing that your past self, let's just say 10 years ago, would be really shocked to learn about your life today.
A lot of those probably relate around like kids and getting older. Like now it's like, hey, it's 5:45 p.m. We need to eat dinner. And 10 years ago, me and buddies are going out to dinner like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And right now that sounds terrible to me. So I think just that typical getting older and not wanting to go out all the time or too late and that kind of stuff.
Life happens fast.
I don't know.
Is there any company that you're absolutely loving their storytelling right now? So their marketing or their campaigns that you happen to follow along with, whether it's also in the fintech space or, outside?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kalshi, which does the event futures contracts, where it's just very simple, yes, no, and maybe what's the S&P 500 going to be worth, or who's going to win the Oscar. I love how they've broken down finance into something like very simple, essentially a thumbs up or thumbs down. They have like crazy, witty, comical commercials, also using AI. I've like spoke on a panel with their founder and just love their whole vibe and energy and kind of irreverence in this very serious type of world.
Yeah. Okay, this one I'm just adding because I just thought of it. But do you ever see yourself doing an eToro commercial? Maybe that's how we get your Hollywood back into
Oh,
your work.
yeah, I got to be in there somehow for sure. Yeah, absolutely. As part of the like legal contract, I won't be doing the contract. I will slide it in somewhere.
You should. I think that's perfect. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, Andrew, that's it. That's all I have for you.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was
thank you so much,
fun.
Haley. It was true joy.
Yeah, of course.